My dream is to be a teacher.
My dream is to be an architect.
My dream is to be a doctor.
My dream is to be a video game designer.
My dream is to be a teacher.
My dream is to be a police officer when I grow up.
All kids have dreams.
So why do First Nations kids get 30 to 50% less government funding for their education on reserve?
You know, what a lot of people don't understand is that First Nations children who are residing on reserve get less funding for every public service compared to other children. The reason for this inequality is that although provincial education, health, and child welfare laws apply on and off reserve, the federal government of Canada pays for services like education on reserve, whereas it's paid by the provincial governments for all other children and young people in Canada. And as the Auditor General and many others have noted, in almost every area of First Nations children's experience, they get between 20 and 30% less funding than non-Aboriginal children. And this has been going on for decades.
On reserve, schools get about $4,000 less per student per year compared to provincially funded schools, but that's a national average, meaning that's across the whole country. So if you go in some regions, the gap is even bigger. I was talking to a principal of a school in James Bay region of Ontario, and he was telling me that the gap for them compared to provincially funded French immersion schools close by is probably closer to $17,000 per student per year, which is pretty significant when you add it up over like a classroom of 20 students, right? You're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars disparity.
In the Canada of my dreams, all kids.
All kids.
All kids.
Including First Nation kids on reserves.
Have fair funding for school sports teams,
Technology.
language and culture, science labs,
Excellent teachers and specialists.
and healthy food.
I was up north teaching in 2007-2008, and at that time there were, I think, 4 computers for 300 students in the school. There were, in a class of 40 students for a math class, there was maybe 10 textbooks. So the lack of supplies, even in terms of like paper and pencils and erasers and things like that, the school does provide that stuff, but in such a limited way that it's not feasible for all kids to have access to those supplies.
And so we see our students falling between the gaps, whether that's academically, socially, spiritually. All of those elements of their total well-being, we need a holistic system and funded properly so that our students can regain who they are as a people, and so that our nationhood comes back fully. And that the start of it is to have equality of funding.
Well, the reason that I care about the funding gap is because I think that every child in this country deserves an equal opportunity to learn, to thrive, to be healthy, and to reach their dreams. I think it's a matter of human rights and of fairness and of justice, and I think Canadians, if we live up to those values, should care too.
I think once the proper funding is in place, who knows how far our children will go.
If we could see the equality come into place, you would see First Nations people thrive. You would see our students, stand up. You would see them in the workforce. You would see that pride build. It would be amazing if only we could reach equality in this country.
If we really are a society that's comfortable at any level to have children racially discriminated against so that we can host the Olympics, so that we can build a brand new highway, so that we can do all of these things, then let's put that right up there with the national anthem. Let's own that description. But if racial discrimination against kids or against anyone is something that we're all against, which I believe to be true in this society, then people have to take action to end it.